So you guys may have noticed I streamlined the intro because I hated the pictures from the last one. But we are back from the trip that you guys have been watching for about a week and a half now. It's been a little bit longer for us, but we're going to get back to doing this more regular. I don't know if Janelle will be available every week, but I'm going to try to go weekly from here on out. It might just be me rambling and talking for half an hour and telling you how much fishing sucked that week, and it might be Janelle actually coming on and hanging out with us. It all depends on how life goes. But how's Jersey life down there?
Oh, we had like 2 or 3 warm-ish days, and I'm dying. You can see my rods behind me. I've been doing a lot of tackle organization, writing out like videos, not so much scripts, but like planning out how I want to kind of structure, or at least give myself a spreadsheet of like all of the video ideas that I like, and then that way, if I have like the inspiration one day, I can just kind of go and check the list and be like, all right, let's knock this one out.
Yep.
And my kayak video, I started editing the whole story of what happened with the van hunks.
This is a story, guys. You got to watch
Yeah,
this.
this is a story. So I think the more updated videos, because I've stopped posting my old ones, but my more updated videos are going to start, I think, somewhere around there with the story of that kayak, the new kayak, and then like the trips in the bus, and we'll start flowing with that stuff. So I'm excited. But I'm also like, the allergies are kicking my ass. So I don't really have energy. Like in my head, I have the energy, but then like my body's like, we don't have any energy to do anything, and it sucks.
And also keep in mind that she has her own perspective, angles, and version of the
Yeah.
ice fishing content that I've been putting up. I kind of jumped ahead of her and put all my stuff out early, but watching her film, I will say that's one thing that was cool, and that's one of the things I think is the best part of filming with someone else who makes content is like I watched what you do and how you like tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's like it helps me learn on
Right.
how to change what I do because I don't think about certain things to film or I don't stop to like do stupid stuff. Like you guys got to realize like we'll be riding in the truck on the way to the water and I look over and she's got her camera stuck out the window. Like it's stuff like that I never thought to record to get a cool angle. And that's what's awesome about when you collaborate with someone is then I will turn around and go watch the entire video series from the person that I was on the trip with because I get to see a different perspective of the trip because I watch, how they
Yeah.
filmed it. So
I've been watching your videos, and I'm like, oh wait, do I have that footage, or I have this angle, and I have that, and like,
yeah,
yeah, I haven't rolled a window down and stuck a GoPro out the window for a shot in so long. It was like nostalgic.
yep,
I got the front view and the back view, and yeah, my videos. I'm excited to get them out. I needed a mental break, as Michael knows, because I haven't really been responding to his stuff, and he's like, "Are you sick of me?" And I'm like, "A little bit," and it's only because I was
yeah,
so burnt out from planning an 11-day trip in the bus, coming home for a few days, unpacking, and then dog sitting, and then right from dog sitting going on another trip, and then coming home. Like I haven't really had a minute to catch up in between, so I'm just like,
yeah,
I needed a moment, but I have been, especially when I was on the trip with Mike. Like I was actually editing while I was with him, so being able to go back in and touch those videos up is going to be great. They're not like fully done, but they're pretty good, and they're still really fresh in the old brain.
yep,
But I have my trip with Bobby, our trip that was way before the ice fishing trip to edit. There's a lot of things that need to get put in there, but like I have at least 6 videos that are kind of like ready to go. So the goal is once a week. As long as that works out, that works out. But I'm not, putting a gun to my head and saying this is what I have to do. I want my videos to be. I want to be happy with what I make. I don't want to just make it to make it. So
right,
if I'm not like, oh my god, I have to get this out, then that's okay. Like I want it to be for me first, and then
right. For perspective, guys, literally,
it's
the reason my videos came out so quickly
because you
is
can't sit still.
it's because I can't sit still, but I literally have 3 videos a week in April And the reason for that, and this is a little sneak preview for people who you guys know that watch the live, you get kind of like a little inside scoop on what's coming. I have a new kayak sitting in a garage that I'm going to be rigging. You guys can see
Same.
the floor here. That's part of it. So there's a lot of changes coming. There's a lot of cool stuff that's happening. And I needed to get some older footage out because it's going to look really weird to you guys if I'm like, hey guys, I'm fishing in this video series that I recorded in 2024 that you guys didn't know I was recording. And then all of a sudden, boom, new kayak, and then back to the old kayak, and then boom, new kayak again. So I was trying to like at least keep stuff somewhat in a chronological order to make more sense for you guys. But I do want to ask, I don't want to talk content all day. I do want to ask, are you going to be open water? I heard there's open water down by you.
Wait, dude, when I came back, all the ice was gone. When I came back from our trip, all of the ice that Bobby was cursing that was frozen on the edge of the river, completely gone. I had no safe ice to try to do one last send. Like, that was it. So I have open water. And
are you braving it?
Huh? Am I braving it?
Are you going to brave it? No?
No, yes? Only because if I do that, then I won't actually take the time to set up the kayak. Like, the Old Town is a great platform that, like, literally, the whole year last year, I didn't do anything to it. I just got in it and I fished it. And that was great. I might have added a GoPro mount to the front and to the back. Yeah. Other than that, that's fine. But, like, I really kind of want to get it a little bit more dialed in. But I'm like, recovering from last year's disaster of a time. That part of me doesn't want to do it, and the other part, I think I said I don't want to do it on camera because I feel like I already did that, but I have to push through that because I haven't. Yep. And then make those videos and make that content. But I'm trying to write that out as kind of like a series and a platform and tie the videos in together. And I'm not copying you.
No, I'm doing. It's the same mental thought for me as like I have that new video, no kayak I want to rig, but like I was gonna make it one video. But like I've got like
it's too much.
I've got wiring, I've got accessories, and then I want to do a walkthrough. And I'm like, if I do that, it's gonna be like a 40-minute video.
It's too much. Because that's what I did last spring, especially with Soraya had a new kayak, so I helped rig hers, and then I was slightly rigging mine before the whole fiasco happened. But it's like it's too much to cram into one video, and I don't really like I don't mind putting on long videos to watch on the TV, but that's when I'm doing other things. Like I've been organizing this area all day, and I've had podcasts and stand-up comedy on, but I'm not really watching it. But I want people to like watch and enjoy, and I don't always want to put like super long content up. Like we get it. You're gonna, put some holes in your kayak, silicone it up and plug it in and put some mounts and an anchor trolley. But that's all you're doing. Like on a kayak, that's how you rig it. So I don't need a 45-minute video of me using the same 3 tools. It's just not entertaining. It's just too much of the same thing. So how I'm gonna break that down, I haven't quite decided yet, but there's a rough draft written out of like what I want to do.
I'm kind of excited. So this is something that a little foreshadowing for you guys. So I'm thinking, and we'll have to work this out, and I'm kind of springing this on Janelle, which I like to do on this podcast anyways. I'm wondering about Memorial Day weekend.
Memorial Day. I will be up there though.
You'll be up here for that. Right, but I'm wondering like if we need to do like you'll be up here, like that's when you're coming up for. I thought it was later than that.
Hold on. When is Memorial Day weekend? Because I never know when anything is. Mother's Day is the 11th. Memorial Day is the 26th. So is it what, the 24th and 25th?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, we'll be in Vermont. I think we come up, I believe, for the 17th.
Okay.
Till the 25th.
I was gonna say you should definitely try to come up that weekend but you're already here, so it works out. Then you're already gonna be in Vermont.
I'm either blocking off the week before or the week after, depending on what the bite is doing for me to be up there. Because my cabin thing fell through, but I want to fish up there during the spawn. I want to target some pike too. Like I've got so many things that I want to do.
I know.
And no money.
I know of a simple parking lot that you can put that bus that was already pre-positioned for you.
Oh, I can just call your mom and be like, hey.
So for those of you who didn't watch the videos or may not have seen the content, the way this trip broke down was this half-assed plan that me and Janelle made that she was going to come up here and then essentially we were going to have her just kind of being nomadic and just parking the bus in random spots and living in it. While, 15 minutes into pulling into she didn't make it to the ramp and stuffed her bus into a snowbank.
Yeah.
And then
that's a good video. That's a good one to watch.
And you guys don't even get the full experience because I didn't want to steal the glory. So I want
as you shouldn't have.
Her video is actually going to show the redneck heroes, we'll call them, that came
they
down. It was this group of guys that just showed up with
very
within 5 minutes. 2 dudes drove by, came around, came back, lined it up, got some chains. You had guys laying underneath. It was the coolest, honestly, like, display of humanity I've ever seen, because they didn't ask any questions. They just like, okay, let's get her out, and then they just worked through it. So we went from that to the freaking epic auger failure, which I learned my brother gave me shit about it. So apparently I'm supposed to hold the throttle the entire time that I'm pulling that, and that's why it wouldn't start.
Your brother can keep it.
That's
fine. Have it.
I don't know if I trust him, because his history with pull starters isn't exactly the greatest either. So
yeah, where's my part?
So
I wish I was rolling for that. Mm-hmm. I'm so
yeah. So the thing is that's what's crazy about it, is there was a lot of like controversy that had to be overcome. Like, so
everything.
We started with that. We went fishing. We had a really good day too. That was a pretty solid day. And then Janelle was by herself for 2 days, but
that was great though. I needed that.
she was really by herself for it was like a day.
It was 2. Well,
was it 2? It was like a day and a half.
It was a day and a half. It was the second half of that day, and then the next day you worked, and then you took off.
So for perspective, guys, what ultimately happened was I was going to have her park at a couple of different places local to me, but a bunch of storms like kind of followed her up from Jersey, I swear. Like, she came up and then it started snowing nonstop.
I brought all the cold weather back up instead of leaving it here. That's what I did. It snowed every day.
With a 2-wheel drive bus that already had a, propensity to be stuck in snowbanks. My parents, I had told the whole story to my mom I literally called my mom while I was driving to get the auger. And I was like, yeah, she got her bus stuck in a snowbank and all this other stuff. And then she actually literally called me after basically Janelle followed me out. Once we got to like safe roads, I left her and then she went a different direction and we separated. And then literally my mom like called me and she's like, where is she parking the bus? I'm like, well, right now she's heading to Walmart and she's going to camp out in the Walmart parking lot. And then she's like, why shouldn't she park it here? Now, for perspective, guys, my parents have 11 acres of land. They have a huge parking lot. They have a landscaping business. So their driveway is literally designed for driving bigger vehicles, around.
Yeah. I fit perfectly, like, next to the pole barn. There was, like, a boat, a trailer, my bus, and then the perfectly placed firewood stack that your dad so nicely bucked up for me because I was a little low on supplies.
So, literally, she pretty much set up shop in my parents' front yard, and that's where she stayed for the remainder of the trip, which honestly was the best thing that could have happened, because from there, it was just... I basically played Uber. I would show up in the morning. She'd throw her stuff in the truck. We'd go fish. I'd drop her back off. And that's how like a summertime Santa she comes up is going to be the same way. And next year.
Right.
So Beyond the Ice is going to be a multiple season show. Pretty much every year that she comes up, I'm going to convince her to come up, even if I have to.
I think we're going to fish the tubes every day until I catch a 17-pound pike or bigger.
Wait for that video, guys. That's a
I did like Carmi.
Carmi
was fun and good, and we were on fish. You understood the structure of the lake.
I want to camp there again. I want to do another camp out there. So next year we're definitely going to camp there again. That's probably how we'll start it. We'll probably go up there, camp out, and then have you set up shop at my parents again.
At the rentals.
And then we'll just go like that. But
for me.
I will admit, and this is something that you guys will see a little bit in the videos. But there was even a point where my parents kind of laughed at us because we fought like siblings.
By
about the third or fourth day. You would have thought that me and Janelle had known each other for 20 years and we were like bickering like siblings the entire time.
It
And a
was
lot
so
of it
good.
came down to when stuff was like, I was actually just editing the video of the first episode of the Tubes where I like pushed you past the like.
That was so good. That was so.
We were literally got to the point where we were being hyper competitive and racing each other to tip ups to see who could get there first. And of course, I'm not nearly as fast as Janelle, so I would
I
play
think
dirty and
I think ice fishing is an ADHD or an ADD person's dream, because literally you go from being bored, being frustrated, nothing happening, and as soon as a flag pops up, my ass was gone. I was throwing my stuff. Like, I'd be jigging the rod, flag, and I would throw my rod, and I'd reel up twice, throw it, sprinting every single time to the flag. And his parents, evening. And his parents were just like, oh my god. I was like, yeah, I'm a little bit much. I'm like, I'm so nice and sweet while I'm at your property, not really bothering anyone. And then they saw
wow,
how much energy I
it
had.
was just dumb stuff too, because we were like,
Oh,
we would just, it was funny. Like, and you guys don't even, on my videos, you're not going to even see the like too bad sense. There was 2 days that both of us were just like, fuck this. Like, even the
yeah.
video you guys just saw where we invented that game.
It was hard to put a video together for that day because it was bad. It was the
There
first
was a
bad
lot
day.
of bad days.
It was the first bad day. And I do owe Mike a slight apology because I did get a little cranky at him sometimes. He's a lot. Like, he's a lot to deal with.
Yep.
And when I got home and he would be like texting me, I was like, I can't. I can't even. I don't have any words. Like, I need a minute.
I warn people and no one believes me because
you're fine. I'll do it again. Just depends on what level I'm gonna do it at again.
So what I learned, well, I think you know what it is.
Please tell me, enlighten me.
It's because we're so like mentality.
Oh, I know. After a certain point.
That's the problem, is both of us are alpha mentality and we're like a weird blend of introvert, extrovert. So like
same sense of humor, same stupid jokes. Like finishing each other's sentences, quoting movies. It was great the first couple days when like, yay, oh my god, so much fun. And then when we didn't catch fish, I was like, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah,
like, I'm gonna kill you.
She got bitch. So we went to my home lake, guys. We did. You'll never see it on my channel. We went. We dragged our asses out 75 yards in a blizzard. It was windy. It was cold.
Snowing crazy.
We caught freaking perch. We went to my other home lake. We didn't catch anything but 2-3 bluegill the entire time we were out there. It got to the point where I would say how we would structure this going forward. And this is the thing that you guys got to understand, because I'm really good at editing and I'm not trying to brag, but like you would think that me and Janelle have known each other for 10 years and we just, no. Literally, the first time we hung out was at the Cayuga videos that you guys saw, and we really didn't get solo time. It was really group time all the time, and we didn't even fish together because she was on Bobby's boat the whole time. So we never even really actually fished together. It was more hang out after, and it was in small doses. This is the first time that we were like with each other. And for these videos, you guys watch 15 minutes. That's 8 or 9 hours of fishing.
And we were getting up early. Like, we were getting up dark and early. Like, right before the sun came up or just as the sun was coming up. I giggle every time. Fail every... Okay, that... F you.
That was fun. I literally made that, and I'm like, babe, come here and look at this. Come here and look at this. And she's like, what? And I'm like, the fact that you were so... That's the thing, though, is you're so animated with video, and I'm the same way. And then, like, half of the stuff that you guys see, like the funny stuff from the video, I didn't even remember my camera was on. That was just us interacting. That the fact that like where I was like, will you just catch a fish already? I had no idea I was recording. Like,
fishy, take the fucking bait.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah, no, it was Oh, heartbreaking. I lost so many fish. I think I only caught one perch and then like those couple bluegill that we jigged up on camera that day.
Yep.
But if I just would have caught those fish,
It would
it
have
would have been a completely different day. But I ate the breakfast that I ate didn't really sustain me. So like as we got on the water, I was already hungry, and it wasn't a long drive to the lake.
Nope.
And I don't do well. I get very hangry.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a blizzard conditions, and I was pulling hooks on every single fish that there was. And then we had no other bites. And then I was cold.
And it was like, you guys will see it, like, if you look at the video in the intro where Janelle is sitting by her sled and setting up that shanty. It snowed like that the whole freaking day. Like,
and
it doesn't look like it in all the video. It was blizzard conditions. And it was not that, like, fluffy stuff. It was freaking wet, heavy snow. We were soaked. Like, my shirt stayed in the same position as it was in the video. The whole, like, it didn't move.
I'm pulling up the video clip. I'll let you all see it. I didn't care. I was like, oh, look.
Yeah, it was like that all day. It didn't really stop. And that was,
and I was happy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, a blizzard. This is so much fun. Da, 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 da. Oh, here it is. Here's my failed clip. Oh no, this is Mike's hand. The bloody hand.
Yeah, I didn't. I'll have to show you guys that video at some point. That might become short. The funny part is, every time that happened, I was like, I heard that sound in my head every time this happened, and I was like, I gotta put this in. And I probably will show you guys the hand. So, for perspective, for those of you who are watching the video and don't really understand the whole concept, because I didn't want to gross people out.
I didn't like it, and I was there.
I was putting up my ground blind, which we were using as a makeshift shanty, which I have a shanty now, which, by the way, that's going to be big enough for both of us to hang out in, so you probably won't need to buy one if you don't want to.
I won't need to, but I probably will. Anyway.
We were putting that up, and I got two sides up. A lot of times I just get inside of it and just pop it all out because it's the easiest way. So I got inside of it. Janelle's standing outside of it, and I push it out, and I'm like, I'm stuck. So she thought that meant pull it.
Grab it.
What that meant was the hub was closed on my thumb. So I'm in the blind. Like, I'm literally attached to this freaking blind.
He was one with the blind.
So she pulls the blind, and I come with it, ripping a huge hole in my thumb. It starts running down my hand. So then I literally had to pop my hand out of it, got out. I'm like, do you have a towel? She hands me a towel, and the flag goes off, and I'm just selfish and ran to the flag with the blood running down my wrist, and I'm holding this like frozen rag while it's like flapping in the air. It was bad. I found it. It was in my sled.
The rag?
It was underneath a pile of snow in my sled still. It was frozen.
Well, because it was white and couldn't see it. I have the red one from your parents' house, so I feel like we just traded that.
And I was bleeding like crazy.
Hence why I always have some sort of first aid kit. So like anybody out there, literally, it's this big. I just put it away. It's like around the corner, but it's like a size of like a pouch like this. You put your phone in. Literally, just Band-Aids, Neosporin, maybe some sort of like antiseptic, like wipe or something, and then tape, because you all know when your fingers are wet or whatever, it's not gonna hold. Yeah. I use electrical tape or athlete's tape or whatever, like hockey tape type shit. Electrical tape works the best, in my opinion, and that thing wasn't coming off his hand. We like taped his thumb. He was fine. And then I missed all the fish.
It swelled up like.
It was gnarly. It was bruised. It was a beautiful battle scar for
that thing
one fucking perch.
My thumb was like, it was like the Grinch. It grew 2 sizes that day. Like it literally like, it was like not good for a while. It hurt for like a week. It was still like, it's still healing. Like I still have a scar from, I'm going to have probably a permanent scar. It was deep.
It was a deep cut. Yeah, it got you. It got you, and it got you good. So, but overall, fun trip. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Would I take Mike in small doses? Absolutely.
So I was
But
gonna
also,
say the plan is to do it a little differently next year. I think what we're gonna do is either extend your trip a little longer and do smaller trips, or literally plan on like either way, like we're gonna do like 6 a.m. to 1 and go home. Instead of, because we were
yeah,
doing, guys, we were doing 6 a.m. to dark
too
for the
dark.
most part. Like it was 6 a.m. It was like we gave up early a couple of times, but other than that, it was pretty much 3 or 4 o'clock before we were done.
Yeah, yeah. We were trying. There was a lot of figuring out. Also, my least favorite thing that Mike kept saying was, "I've never ice fished this spot, so we're gonna fish it." And I'm like, "Kind of fucking sense, you stupid idiot! I drove 7 hours, over 400 miles to get here, and you are gonna bring me to a place you've never ice fished? And guess what? We didn't catch fish there.
To be fair,
Fucking idiot! I'm
um,
not.
I
Thank
haven't
God I
ice
didn't
fished.
pay you to be my
That's
guide."
true. To be fair, I haven't ice fished a lot of places because I didn't ice fish a lot until this year is the most ice fishing I've ever done
You're welcome.
in a single season.
You're welcome.
And it's only select spots. I was actually going to go back to Carmi this weekend, but I'm not because the weather is mid 40s and raining until actually through the weekend. And then next weekend's supposed to be 50s. So there's going to be a lot of water on the surface. It's going to be plenty of safe
Gonna be a lot of
ice,
water.
but it's going to be a lot of like standing water on top of ice with all that snow
Yeah.
melt, and I
So
just don't want to
like
deal with it.
Wednesday, we're hitting 66.
Wow, that's way warmer than up here.
Tomorrow, 52, 54, 37, and then 23. That's just our random cold day. 39, 56, 66, 51. So, like, in a week or two ish, our transition starts to warmer weather and springtime. So, I'm happy about it and I'm sad about it. Because I really liked ice fishing, but also kayak, but also ice fishing. Because it's something I've never gotten to do it fully,
Right,
ever.
right.
So, if I could still be doing it, I would be.
I'm going on a couple days.
I know you are. I know, and then he's sending me pictures of him and his mom catching fish at our spot while I'm at work, and I was like, "Stop fucking texting me fish photos." I'm
Yep.
at work. He was like, "My bad."
She's getting so angry
I
because I'm like,
was
hey,
so
look
mad.
at this pike and this pike, and look at this perch and this pike, and look at the pike that my cousins caught that won a derby. That thing was ridiculous. But my
Yeah.
plan, just so you guys are aware, I am still planning on trying to do a snakehead sand. I'm thinking April. I'm thinking that's probably when
Yeah,
it's
it's
gonna
February.
be.
My God, I'm having like a April.
I don't have a tournament in April anymore. I bumped it.
I bumped it.
So I have more availability in April than I was going to because I'm bumping that tournament because I don't know if we're going to have.
What up, Michael Bradley?
Just so you know, guys,
The non co-host.
She signed on for another couple of months. She's on a tentative basis.
No,
So
I
she signs
didn't.
on.
I told you on the 7th is technically supposed to be my last episode, and he's
Yep.
like, "You sure about that?"
That's not gonna happen.
Blah 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 blah. Again, it all has to do with how busy my season gets and how I manage all of that. Because right now I am completely burned out. You're gonna notice there's spots where I'm just like,
Oh,
yeah, and then I come right back. Like I'm kind of wiped out, and I'm happy that I have a few days to chill. But I also feel the pressure because the weather's getting warmer. I feel like I don't have time to like recuperate. I feel like I need to go right into getting my kayak ready. I do not want to be setting up my kayak when the spawn actually starts happening. Like here, like I do not want that to happen. I want to be ready, and I want to be ready to tackle all of these places in New Jersey that I'm planning on going, and I want to be rigged. Do I think it's going to be like this crazy setup? No, but like I want it to be done. So if I do a couple little trips, it's only really to see if I like that in that spot or if I want that in this spot, if this gets in the way of me casting or if this angle of camera is good. So
Yep.
I feel
Wait,
that pressure though, and I don't
wait,
like it.
wait till you see the ridiculousness that
That
I.
you have.
Yeah, it's a lot. Um, I'm probably putting almost $2,000 worth of accessories on the kayak.
I don't doubt
Um,
it.
I'm keeping the Old Town. Did I tell you that? I don't know if I told you that.
I thought you were selling it to your buddy.
So I was gonna sell it
Something.
to my brother. He
Your
decided he
brother.
didn't want it, and
Oh, he's
then
an ass.
Nikki actually said she wanted
Nikki.
me to keep it.
Oh,
So,
thought she was coming
which
out.
makes sense. So she is going to it's going to be like essentially a buddy kayak, but it's going to
Nice.
be like when she wants to go, because she actually injured her shoulder in a car accident, so she couldn't paddle anymore. She used to go with me quite a bit, but the paddling was just too much for her. So the pedal
Yeah.
drive is going to give her the ability to come along with me. I'm going to strip it down to like basically the way your kayak is currently
Yeah.
configured.
Bare bones.
And then that way she doesn't need wiring. She doesn't need all the extra accessory shit that I have. Most of that's getting transferred to the new kayak. And then I have some parts and some wiring and, a new battery and
New
some other
sponsor.
stuff, new sponsor for a lot of stuff. But overall, it's going to be a lot more setup. It's going to be a lot cleaner. That's the one thing
Yeah.
about rigging a kayak the first few times you do it is it's always like you said, the biggest mistake people I think make is they just like, oh, I need all of these 10 things. And then they put them on their kayak and like, I don't like any of these.
Right.
Like one of the things I always thought I wanted, and I ended up putting on both my original paddle kayak and my Old Town, is the anchor trolley, the like
Yeah.
pulley system. And I never fucking use it.
And it gets
Ever.
caught on branches or whatever if you're
I
like
never
going
use it.
through.
Now I will say I'm going to have an anchor.
Right.
This is another partner deal I'm working on. But I'm going with an anchor company called Anchor Wizard that you guys may
I
have
was just
heard
gonna
of.
say. Yeah.
I may or may not have a message out to the fine folks at Anchor Wizard. Hey boys, call me. Um,
I already have mine. I bought mine, but I don't know. It's okay. So like there's just so many things that go into rigging a kayak.
it is. It's crazy.
And
We'll
it's
do an
like,
entire episode on it at some point, I'm sure.
oh,
But
absolutely. I bought the Anchor Wizard and the oh my god.
did you
What's
buy the
the
full
bomb?
kit with the tube and everything, or did you buy just the
Yeah.
tube part?
Tube. Front tube thing.
Yep.
Wizard. And then it's called like the K-bomb anchor or something. It looks like a little bomb. It's literally
Yep.
like a 3-pound little ball.
Yep.
And I wish they had it in teal, but I only got like the gray one.
Yep.
And I'm thinking about the only spot that really I could put it would be on the front of my kayak because
Back.
I don't know where to put the back.
There's those 4 bolts in the back for a power pole. So what you can do is, because that's what I'm going to do with mine. It's the same thing. So what you can do, and you'll love it because you like redneck engineering as much as I do, right?
Yeah.
You take one of the thicker plastic cutting boards, you put it on that to mark the bolt pattern, and then allows you to stick it a little bit beyond and back at an angle so it doesn't interfere with your rudder. That way you can drop that right off the back, and that way it'll just catch you. Because the whole point of that is just to either slow you down in current or basically just let you sit. And if you put it from the back, what you can do is line yourself up with where you want to cast, drop it, and then if you want to get closer to that, you can just let it out a little bit. If you put it on the front, what happens is the wind spins you. So then it actually pulls you away from where you're trying. I learned that the hard way with mine. That's why I say the anchor trolley. The anchor trolley is supposed to be able to spin you because you can turn it from front to back. I never ended up putting it anywhere but the back because anytime I tried to reposition myself, it just wouldn't work. And I ended up putting it back and then facing where I was going to cast anyway. So that's why I'm going with the back.
I use the anchor trolley in like super windy conditions, and I did adjust it a lot of the times. Most of it was just so I could re-rig because the fish wanted the natural drift of the Lord. I was anchored. It wasn't catching fish. As to where my cousin who was drifting, which made paddling, it was so annoying the amount of times you drift and then had to paddle in the wind. But now I have the pedals. But yeah, there's just so many thoughts and things that like I want to put into it, that I do want to put into it, that I don't want to put into it. I also I've didn't forget, but like I got my boating license, so I can use my dad's boat. I have to borrow my
Yep.
mom's car, but I can plan trips where I can take the boat out. I don't know if I'm gonna do that, but like it's an option. It's there.
Right.
It's like I love the idea of customize. I love customizing gear. Period. Just notice everything around me is
I'm
custom.
not allowed to use specific colors, guys. That's how much she likes customizing
That's
gear.
true. That's true.
I've been
And
forbidden from using certain colors.
yo, in your video, I was like, did he buy that orange tip up? But it was just the two fray bills that were sitting close. I was like, oh, so lucky.
So all of my tip ups now have.
Tape.
I bought tape. I had that freaking yellow tape. So I'll tell you guys right now, do not use fluorescent yellow duct tape for flags.
For ice
Don't
fishing.
do it. You cannot see those freaking flags in the snow. Janelle was so pissed, and I was
Oh
so
yeah.
pissed. There were so many times that we had no idea we had
I was like,
flags because you
what's
couldn't really
that?
see it. So I bought orange, like actual, like almost like marking tape, orange duct tape. And I even went around and I did like a strip around the top of the tip ups so that I could see the tip up, because all my tip ups are black. So they're not all orange. I'm actually going to change the color of the tip of the tip ups to like a blue, like almost like a when we were fishing with Greg, the color of his
Yeah.
heritages. I want to
Mm-hmm.
do that blue around the top of all my tip ups so that I can, because you couldn't see the black tip when they're at a distance. You couldn't even see, like, is that tip up there or is it there? I couldn't see them at a distance.
It's all right. I told you had to use green, but it's whatever.
I can't. The problem is you can't. I tried the green. You can't see
I
it.
didn't say fluorescent green. I
No,
said
and no
green.
green. You can't see it. I tried it. I don't know what it is about the green at a distance. But anyways, guys,
Whatever.
I
You
plan
use
on.
red.
I could
It's
do red.
fine. It's fine. It's fine. You are allowed to. You're a big boy.
So if you guys want an
You're
example of that bickering we were talking
making
about,
those stupid fucking decisions.
imagine this right here for 7 days straight, and now you know why she needed a week or two to recharge before we came back on the podcast.
Yeah, and I was also like, I think I went too far with your parents because they were with us the one day. I was like, I think I went a little too far with some of the jokes. Need to reel it in a little bit.
Nah,
They're so
they
sweet.
literally invited you back. Like, she was like 2 days in, and they're like, "Is she coming back in the summer?" I'm like, I literally at the point now where like Janelle could text my parents. Like, I actually fully expect to just roll into my parents and just see the bus there one day,
Yeah.
like not even know that she's up here. But
Us hanging out on the porch, just like
yeah,
having a drink.
just go to a lake
talking.
and just see her kayak out there, and I'm like, where the fuck did you come from?
They're like, hey,
But I've
Mike.
been up here for a week. What do you mean?
Your parents are so lovely. Both of them are so sweet.
It
And my
was
mom's being
100%
like, are
their
you
idea
okay?
too.
Yeah. I'm like, Mom, I'm great. Honestly, I don't want to leave. I did not want to leave. Maybe that's why I'm so tired and sad. It's because I didn't really want to leave, but I had no money. Like, I had just enough money to get home. Ugh.
It was crazy because of like generator failure. The firewood thing worked out. Like, that's where a lot of that stuff came from. Was like, I didn't, this was a little bit me, but it was mostly like my parents. Like I said, they called and they're like, well, where is she parking? And I'm like, well, I think we're gonna have her stay here or here. And they're like, no, just have her park in the driveway. I'm like, okay.
Well,
I prefer that for safety. And then they're
yeah.
like, well, what does she heat in her bus with? I'm like, well, she's got a little wood stove. She's got some pine kindling stuff. And they're like, that's not going to last very long. And I'm like, no. And they're like, well, we have wood. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know if it's going to work, but you can try. So then they gave it to Janelle, but Janelle's like, I can't. This is like, you guys got to understand, like, the surface area of her, it's like not big.
The biggest piece of wood is like this big.
Yeah. So you're
That's
not
even a
putting
joke.
huge chunks in there. So they had like actual tree basically cut up. Like, it wasn't even split. It was just a tree cut into chunks. And my dad texts me and he goes, does she have enough wood? And I'm like, well, she does, but I might bring over my chainsaw and help her, buck it up. And then like
5 seconds later,
probably about an hour later, I got a text from Janelle, like, I have more wood than I could ever need because your dad came over and we split it all. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool, good.
Yeah, you'll see it. Your parents make an appearance. That's what I'm trying to say. in my video for sure because I filmed that, like
That's
him
cool.
helping me and me splitting it while he's bucking it up and your
Yeah.
mom and the dogs. So yeah, that
Yeah.
was honestly it. If I am so comfortable in a Walmart parking lot, it's not even funny, and I just started bus life. Like I haven't
Right.
even really been doing it for years. I've probably done 6 trips where I've slept in Walmart parking lots, and I feel so comfortable there. I was staying in the Home Depot till that closed, and I just scooted on over to the Walmart.
Right.
Um, but because of the weather and because I got stuck on day one, if I didn't get stuck on day one, I would have fought it, and I probably wouldn't have stayed at your parents, which would
No,
have
you wouldn't have.
no, I
That's
wouldn't
why
have.
I didn't even suggest it, honestly, because
Yeah.
part of, and that's what's weird about it. Like, I had to explain this to my coworkers, so you guys gotta understand. I work in a software company, like literally, I'm wearing a shirt. I work with like office people that don't go in the wilderness, and they're like, when I explain this trip to them, they're like, "Well, wait, she's sleeping in her bus," and I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "And you're gonna sleep in the back of your truck?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "But you're 2 hours from home. Why wouldn't you go home?" I'm like, "That's kind of the whole point of the content, like, was to do it, to like, it's not really roughing it, but it's a different way of living, and the whole point and the whole like enthusiast adventure channel is like doing that, going and overcoming all of that. So I never really even thought to offer that because I figured you were going to want to do that. But the way the weather was, and honestly, I've been through that area, you probably wouldn't have got your bus in there. A lot of those places were
Oh
not
no,
plowed. They
I
were
wouldn't
not
have.
plowed. You would have been, and I'll admit, I big brothered her a little bit, which pissed her off a lot. Was like, it was a safety thing too. Like, I didn't,
Yeah.
because it wasn't even necessarily, it was safety for her, but it was also like, we did a lot of like just leaving the bus and running and fishing it, and I didn't want to like, I would have felt guilty if we left your bus in some parking lot somewhere and then somebody vandalized your bus while we were out fishing. Whereas
Yeah.
at my parents' house, no one's gonna screw with it. My parents were
No.
home pretty much the entire time anyways, and
Yeah.
for perspective, guys, the driveway that my parents live on, the house below my parents' house is my aunt, and then there's 2 houses above it that are like my family's neighbors that they're pretty friendly with. So
Yeah.
like, it's
Nobody.
a super safe community area that you're not
Yeah. And with
having any
those
issue.
dogs, with those two puppers, they're big. They're big sons of
Yeah,
bitches.
yeah,
Ain't
yeah.
nobody messing with me. Yeah, I think the universe was like, hey, you're not meant to do this. You're supposed to do that, and that's the beauty of it. And when you embrace, everyone's like, what do you when you like? I have a friend. His name is Gary. I love Gary. He plans out. They moved to, oh my god, one of the Dakotas. I think that's right. Anyway, from New Jersey. So they drive back and forth all the time. He plans out to like the millimeter every stop they're going to take, where they're going to eat, where they're going to stay,
Yep.
the whole drive there, the whole, like, he has an itinerary and he follows it to a T. I can't do that. It's not like, I don't
Nope.
want to live that way. I don't like that structure. I like having my bullet points, and then I know, okay, this is here if I need it. This is there. I'm in this general area where I can get help. I have service. I have my resources and facilities, but like, I want to go with the flow. And living that way, living out of the bus in that cold condition, it's an adventure, and it's a different way of living. There are some discomforts, but if you don't push yourself, you're never going to know what you're capable of. And that
Yep.
was the beauty of it. It was like, I never thought I'd be camping in -4 degree weather. Like,
It
I
was
thought, okay,
not warm. It was a
no.
cold week. It was probably the coldest week in Vermont in like 5 years.
Yeah, I brought the cold, and it was it took like 2 days to acclimate, and then once I
Yep.
was acclimated, I was fine.
Yep.
And but you feel like you're living, you feel so alive, you feel so in tune with your senses, and you're aware of things, but like, you're so present and in the moment, and that's so peaceful. Like, that is
Yep.
what my life is about. That's genuinely, like, I think that's another reason why I felt so kind of like, not a little melancholy and a little bit drained being back home, is because I want to be on the road. I
Yep.
want to be doing adventures. Like, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't have the money to do it full time, and that's okay. But like, I wasn't ready to come home. Hello, Brianna. My okay. So for context, my dad ripped apart our upstairs bathroom, so now everybody has to use our downstairs bathroom. And Brianna's gonna pop her head in 3, 2. Hi,
Hi.
Brianna. and now she's going away. So they have to use the downstairs bathroom. So in the middle of the night, 1:00 in the morning, my mother and father come down and they turn the main light on, which just beams into my room. And I was like, what are you doing? They're like,
That's
oh, we're just
funny.
using the restroom. I'm like, I'm gonna get them a lantern, like a Ebenezer Scrooge like lantern, so they don't have to put the
There you
big light
go.
on.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like there's definitely April, and that's gonna be a short trip. Like I'm thinking like it's gonna be a 4-day weekend, and really it's just because of travel time. It's gonna be really a couple days
Yeah,
of fishing.
right.
Um, I'm gonna kind of like do the opposite. We're gonna basically flip the script, but I'm gonna park in her parents' driveway or
Yeah.
find some curbside parking
No,
for my
you'll
truck.
be
But
you'll be in my parents' driveway. Genuinely, like you will
yeah,
be 2 rooms behind me in the on the concrete driveway, and
that's
I'll
me.
be like waving to you from my room, like good night, Mike.
So did you listen to this week's podcast from Bobby yet?
I haven't. Is
Okay.
it good? Is it bad? Is it ugly?
No,
Is
I
it
just you're gonna be mad at me because I think we're going over to the Cape. He didn't mention it, but he kind of mentioned it.
what?
I think me and him are going to camp the ramp, and I'm gonna meet him down there, and then we're gonna fish out of the beef boat in the Cape, and then
The beef boat.
so
Are
that's
we?
something that's coming soon.
What are the Four Musketeers doing this year? What's our trip? I've named us the Four Musketeers officially.
Fair enough. I'm not
But
sure. I haven't. So his schedule's so weird with this trivia stuff that he's doing now. So he messaged me. We haven't really set up a plan yet, but he's got a line on a couple of ponds that apparently are close or not far from being fishable with the boat. So it works out kind of nicely because I'm really itching to get open water stuff going on.
and I want
Especially
ice fishing.
well, and the problem is we're in like a we're gonna be in that weird limbo. So we're gonna be very soon, like next week's they're calling for 50s. We're gonna get into that point where I'm kind of a wimp when it comes to ice fishing and I'm not willing to risk it. So like we're gonna
I
be in
would.
that like I can't just go where I want when I want, like I can right now.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons
Right.
why I'm doubling down this weekend. And I'm going back to the place that we are lovingly calling the Tubes, and I will never
The
tell you guys
tubes.
why, but there's a inside joke
Uh,
with why this is called the Tubes. But that's going to be the where I probably honestly finish out my ice content, and then there's a good chance within the next 1 or 2 weekends I'm gonna be driving down the Mass. Because the thing is the freaking Cape is like 5 hours from me.
right. I'm listening.
So
I'm
I,
looking at my schedule.
my plan is to go down there, hang out with Bob. I'm just going to bring a few rods, a couple, I'm going to bring basically a limited scope of baits because it's still going to be cold. Do the camp out thing with him, knowing Bobby and knowing how whenever you go camping with Bobby, you have to understand that at some point he's going to pull out his roadcaster. But
Oh,
you're going to end up recording a podcast at some point. You're going to be
I
part
thought
of
you were. I thought you were talking
that
about the
too.
pre rolls. I
That
was
stuff
like,
too. That too.
this is from Bobby for all y'all. There's one
So
in here. I haven't smoked
So
it yet.
that's going to be a plan for that, but I don't know what he's got a lot of because he's going to St. Clair soon too.
You know what, Bobby, if you're listening, I gotta call you. I might call you tomorrow during the day. I haven't talked to him in a while. Just like
Yeah.
I was putting both of you and him. I was like, I don't have time. He's been sending me some really dark humor shit on fucking Instagram, and I just roll my eyes. I'm like, Bobby,
Yep.
stop.
I think he's sending me the same shit. Yeah, that's what's
Stop.
so weird too. Is like it's I'll send him messages and stuff. Like he is. That's going to be the first open water send. Is going to be that, and then after that, like I said, my plan is to try to work out some weekend with you. It's going to be a deal where I probably take like a Thursday off.
Right, that's
Leave
what I was thinking. I
drive
was like,
Thursday is going to be like my driving day. I'm probably not going to plan on fishing that day. It's just
right.
too freaking long of a drive, and then to turn around and go fish, it's going to be too much. So it's
Too
going to be like a Thursday, fish Friday, Saturday, drive home Sunday.
right. I just want to see. I don't think my April calendar is that bad right now. My March calendar is quite full.
Yeah. Yeah, March for me is going to be interesting because like I said, I might be going with Bobby, I'm trying to go weekly with this podcast. Whether or not my co-host will be here or not will be another
or
question.
non co-host.
I have a backup co-host that's going to fill in at times. I have some other guests that are looking to come on.
I almost just spilled my drink.
I actually want to try to get Mikey on.
Mikey
Uh,
Balls.
he hit his 100,000 subs this week,
Congratulations.
so I kind of want to try to get him on to talk about that. And
Is that like a rule of thumb that like if you hit 100,000 subs, you can make money independently on YouTube? Like I don't know how the algorithm works, but every
no,
content creator.
it's really not. But they actually literally send you a silver play button. Like they send
Oh,
you
I
an
can't
actual
wait.
plaque.
I can't wait to put it somewhere in this
They send you an actual
studio.
plaque, and you can make once you hit. It's actually the algorithm goes. You have 1,000 subs and 3,000 watch hours. So that's why everybody has a podcast, because the more you guys watch, the quicker I get to monetization. I'll admit, I'm not really interested. I am and I'm not. Like, I don't think I'm going to make enough money on the YouTube side of things to have it matter. But that being said, there is companies that are
It's
willing
so
to talk.
stupid.
um and the more you guys watch, the more you click on the videos, the more views I get, the more leverage I get to work with companies and possible ways for you guys get products, stuff like that. I'm gonna Watt Cycle was really cool. It was a really cool conversation that I had with them, and it's kind of the first of hopefully many partnerships that I'm gonna get involved in. I will admit, the banner across the bottom of this screen right here, some of those companies have done a lot for me, and some of those companies haven't. But it's companies that have done something for me. I only promote a company, and this is something that it sounds simple and it sounds like obviously, but in this industry, there's too many people that are willing to say this is the best brand. I'm not. I'm not
Right.
willing to promote something unless I personally use it, unless I actually believe in the product or I believe in the company, or in some cases, Dark Horse is a perfect example. You see a Dark Horse logo down there. Yeah, I bought Dark Horse boxes. There's one right here under this monitor. But it's not just that. I know Zach. I know Josh. I've hung out with them. I like them as people. I like their business plan and what they stand for. And that's what I support. I don't support. To be honest, guys, you'd be surprised some of the crap I get. Ask Janelle about the
Oh my
eyelash
god, the
extension.
eyelash extensions.
I get jewelry companies trying to send me free stuff. I get eyelash extension companies. Like, yeah, I could get money from companies like that, but that's not who I am, and it's not something I'm going to be able to promote.
See, I'm very excited for when I have those opportunities with different companies, especially because I'm not pigeonholed into one. It's not
No.
like, oh, I can only do fishing gear. It's like, no, I can do camping gear. I could do hunting
Yep.
gear. I could do fishing gear. I could do regular travel stuff that people don't necessarily think about behind the scenes. I could also do feminine product stuff. Like there's a million and one. I mean, not fake eyelashes because I don't use them. But hey, I mean, ladies,
That,
if you want to look good on the water, go for it. But I don't think the
yep.
deer or the fish give a shit. So, but I'm excited to find that community of people to also support me and then me support them. Like it's very exciting, and I do want to make this a full-time thing, and I do want to make money off of it, at least enough to fund the travels or some of the equipment or just help me
Right.
pay the bills, pay the insurance on the bus, whatever it is. Like that's the
Yep.
goal. For now, I'm starting at the bottom.
And
But
that's
that's okay.
and honestly, that's one of the reasons why I wanted Janelle to come up here, because I knew it would be a easy opportunity for her to get content. And you guys don't understand unless you've done it. If you're with someone who makes content, it just makes filming easier, because if you ran to a tip up and you don't have your freaking GoPro on because it's recovering or doing something stupid, you look up and there's a camera in your face and then you get that shot. Like that's what's cool about filming with someone, is that you still get the shot. And honestly, I knew her financial situation, and I knew that I'm financially stable enough that I could foot a lot of the travel and the gas, so she didn't have to drive the bus back and forth, and it made it so that that trip was possible. And that's one of the
Right.
things that, over time, my goal is to, do many more of these. And it's going to be hopefully a point where Janelle gets to the point where she's like, hey, I'm going to be heading to Maine for 3 weeks, but I'm going to stop in Vermont and fish with you for a few days. Like that's my kind of goal for her, is to be independent. And then as she travels around, you guys are going to see there's a reason I bought a cap and I have a diesel heater, because it might be something where she says, hey, I'm doing filming in Rhode Island next week. And I'm like, I'm on my way. I'll see you there. I'll be there in 4 hours, 5 hours, and we'll do a day of footage. And then she'll go on her way. And then I'll go back home. And I actually really like, and it's not a good thing for me, because I really liked that camp out.
I did too. I definitely
That
did
was
too.
a lot of fun doing that camp out content.
Yeah, it was. You know what? And the other thing is, it's like being with someone who is also making content, or just being with somebody who you feel supported by. It doesn't even necessarily have to be like someone else does content, but like
Right.
it made it so much easier for me to have the energy to like charge my cameras and get all my equipment set up and like actually bring it and then actually make the video. Because a lot of the times when I'm like fishing with my dad, like he doesn't give a shit. He's actually sometimes annoyed by the fact that I'm playing around with the camera instead of like grabbing the net or like getting the right angle or something. I mean, don't get me wrong. If there's a fish, I'm grabbing the net first. But I also want to get it on film. And there's
Yep.
just times when like I'm tinkering around with things, I feel like a burden, and that's something that I'm working on. I think we all have that like
Yep.
I'm in the way of things mentality, and it's like no, it's totally fine. But it makes it so much more enjoyable, and you start to get more motivation to do it, and you feel happier about it, and you're just like you're feeding off of the energy and the vibes of the trip. So it made it a lot easier. Because there was like one night when I was like, I don't feel like charging my camera gear. I don't care. And then I'm like, no, I can't do that to Mike. I can't do that around Mike. I can't do like that's not fair. So I charged it up, and then I made a video about a blizzard. Like,
well, and it's like, so for perspective, guys, the video you just saw, so the third episode, right? The intro, okay? We're sitting in the truck, we talk. The cut scene to Janelle pulling her sled. The reason that happened, and you didn't just get me starting with my first fish catch, was because I started to walk on the lake, and she goes, "Where are you going?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "We have to record an intro. Like, we need to
sit your
record
ass.
this." So
Yeah,
I had
sit
to
your
go
ass down.
back off of the ramp, stand behind her, hold my camera up, wait for her to pack her sled up, and then walk on the lake. And that's the kind of stuff that, like, that's why I am looking forward to, like, you having more independence over time, is that
Yeah,
those kind of trips are, because I'm not going to, like, it sounds like, oh, well, the next time she's up here, I'm going to Jersey. We're going to meet up in other places. I'm absolutely positive there's going to be some sort of Bobby roast beef collaboration at some point
yeah,
this year. Where that is or when that happens is going to be determined later. But it's just, I really like the whole meet up with someone and camp out, do the fishing. The camping out thing, I think, is underrated. And it's
yeah.
underrated for a few things. One, the fact that we fished till it was like 7 or 8 o'clock before we left the lake that day. And that, but the thing is, it's not a big deal. If you're camping the ramp,
Right.
you just jump in your vehicle and go to sleep. Now, for me,
Oh,
it's a little bit different because I'm not just going in the bus. I have to actually, like,
yeah.
literally fold out, and you guys, I'm gonna do if I do sleep at the ramp with Bobby, I'm gonna show you guys how I do this. But I literally have a camping cot, a memory foam mattress, the diesel heater that's velcroed to the side of the cap. And the thing is, the whole night I actually slept good and bad, and it was because of my anxiety of that heater shutting off on me at some point. And
Yeah.
I actually shouldn't have been as worried, because I could have turned that heater up more and been more comfortable. But for perspective, and to give credit to Vivor, literally I was in a single pair of sweatpants, a vest, and a hoodie with no socks,
That's crazy. The no socks thing was
No,
I'm wearing
yeah,
Uggs. I'm wearing Uggs, okay, to
yeah.
keep my feet warm. And he's got no socks
I've
on.
got
I'm
no
like, what?
socks on at all. And I'm now granted I was in a sleeping bag, but I was in a sleeping bag and a thin regular comforter.
Yeah.
And I was actually I had that heater running at the lowest setting it would go on because, and this is my own stupidity and having done research after was stupid. So I ran on the lowest setting because I thought I was going to kill the battery I was running this heater off of. Well, come to find out, the power draw is exactly the same regardless of what heat setting you put it on, because it's still a blower motor. It's basically just powering a fan, and the fan doesn't get higher or lower. It just pumps in more fuel the hotter you turn it up.
But
So
I
it
understand.
doesn't
Like
affect
I
the fin.
understand. Yeah, I understand that thought process though. It's just like
Because I was thinking,
I
like,
get
the
it.
more you turn it up, the faster the fan goes, or and it does use. Granted, it does use a little bit more power because it does have to cycle the pump 4 times to run it through
Right.
the heater. But
It's
from
not
what
bad.
I read, like, you're not gonna. It's not. It's a negligible amount of power,
Right.
so that means I could have been even warmer. And guys, for perspective, literally, and it was funny when I looked at it. And I kind of wish I'd gotten a video of it. You can kind of see it in the intro. From my cap to the back of my truck was completely defrosted, no snow, completely clean. The front of my truck had 4 inches of snow and my
Yeah.
windshield was frozen and I had to scrape my windshield before we could leave.
Yeah,
So
it
that
snowed all
that
night.
cap literally was hot enough that it was keeping the snow that was falling melted and like completely clean. Like it was,
Yeah.
and that's an uninsulated fiberglass cap.
Yeah,
So,
that's what that means. The fact that it was melting means that it was uninsulated, but the fact that it was on the lowest setting and still keeping you
and I was still
warm.
fine. Yeah. So
Crazy.
I'm probably going to insulate that with
Right.
some like Reflectix or
Foam.
something.
Oh,
And
reflect.
then just to get a little bit more heat bounce back, but I'm very much going to be doing some winter camp. Like next year, I want to try to like camp like 2-3 days
2 3
before
days.
we like
Two
park your
three
park your bus for the weekend.
2 3 days.
So
Okay. We'll talk about it. It's definitely an option. I gotta get me one of them one of them heaters. So I gotta get Bobby his Mr. Buddy heater back, which probably won't happen until who knows when I'm gonna see him.
I was thinking about that too. You should have just left it with me.
I didn't know you were gonna. I didn't really know you were gonna see him
I
like that.
I'm more likely to see him before you do, though.
I thought about stopping in Massachusetts to drop it off to him, but I literally was like, I'm driving 7 hours home. I'm not
Yeah.
stopping. I just drove F
So
home.
I will recommend, if you do
Once.
decide to get one of those Vivors, you can buy the kit where it's all the pieces that you don't have to have it in that one unit.
What do you mean?
So you can actually buy that heater where it's the tank, the actual tank, the pump, the control box, and the heater, but it's not in a sealed unit. So then you could
Oh,
actually install it in your bus however you want. You don't have to have it,
bingo!
and you might be able to, with some engineering, you might even be able to run that straight into your diesel tank in your bus.
Some redneck engine. I wouldn't do that.
But you
I
could
wouldn't.
actually,
I don't. I don't know enough about proper redneck
yeah.
rigging engineering to do that, but I know that where it could go. I have a few spots in my mind of like where I would put it.
Having been in there, I could definitely suggest a couple of things because I think that like that would be better than doing the unit like what I have, because then it doesn't have to be in the elements. Literally, the heater could be inside. You duct the exhaust outside. You have a tank, because you could get a bigger tank too. My tank's only a gallon. You can
Right?
buy like a 5 gallon.
The hell just happened?
Once the show hits an hour, for some reason it disconnects from the mic. For some reason, I don't know
Oh,
why.
that's annoying as hell. That's annoying.
Stupid.
But
No, the V4 definitely recommend it. And the thing is, I burned like 80% of the gallon, and we went to bed at like 9, and we were up at like 6:30. So that whole time, I burned 3/4 of a gallon of diesel.
Yeah, that's
So
pretty awesome.
I'm
I
actually
just
going
need
to the shanty this weekend to try it. Just to
redneck
make a video.
engineering.
Just to make a video for it, like bring it out, set it up just like I did in the shanty. Take the foam, put it in the window,
Yeah,
set it up outside, and just let it run in there and see how it does.
I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking about how that's gonna go. It's probably gonna be fine. It'll be great.
I'll probably
That
be
shanty
mad.
was a lifesaver in those elements for sure. I think my experience would have been a whole lot different if we didn't have it with us when we did.
The new
You
one's
don't
better.
think about it. You don't think about like. Well, first of all, in New Jersey, it's like it's not even. There's no snow. Like our ice fishing was literally like it's warm. Like,
Right.
but when you're there and you're in the elements, it's completely different.
Well, and that's the thing for you too, is like you never really got to go. Like I went back to home. Now,
Yeah.
granted, the bus is home for you. Like that's your home, but it was definitely like you weren't going back to a house that was being heated while you were gone. You were going back to a frozen bus that you had to thaw out and start warming again. So you didn't get out at like, now don't get me wrong, we blasted the heat from the
We did.
moment we hit the boat ramp until we got you
Yeah.
back. But it was like you were definitely going back to a cold environment once you got home.
Mhm.
So, but I definitely think that we're gonna have a better plan, and I think there's going to be, like I said, we were learning. Not only you were learning ice fishing, we were learning how to make content together. We were also learning how to.
Fat cat, fat cat. Other way, other
Yeah,
way.
I'm
Turn
trying
the
to
other way.
figure out if
There she is.
she
Look
has,
at that booty.
she has a tendency to pee on stuff, so I'm just keeping an eye on her.
Oh,
But
hey, kitty.
we were learning how to like coexist
Oh
too.
yeah, there's a lot of learning how to coexist.
And most people, like I said, most people don't understand until they hang out with me for an extended period of time, because what you said earlier really kind of drives it home. You're like my friend that plans every quarter-mile increment of their trip. That's me. And then you are like, I don't plan more than the next 45 minutes ahead for the most part.
But also,
So
your plans always change. So, like, when Mike's like, I was thinking that we're going to do this, I
yeah,
already know that it's going to change 7 times, and even that day, it's going to be different from what
yeah.
he said. So, I'm like, Mike, please just stop telling me what you're thinking, because it's not going to.
I
I
I
don't care.
I
He's
drive
just
my wife
talking.
nuts with it too. Like this weekend, for a perfect example, it started
Mhm.
out I was fishing Carmine Saturday, and I wasn't fish. I was going to fish Friday
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in the morning, and then I was going to fish Sunday, and then I was like, nah, I'm going to fish Saturday, Sunday. The thing is, the reason why I'm going back to the tubes is because it is a place where the water underneath the ice is only about 6 feet.
Right.
So if something does happen, I get a pressure crack or the way the weather has been in the worst case scenario, I go through. We're about 30 yards from shore, no matter where I am.
Right.
And there's only 6 feet of
So much.
water. So if I fall through, I'm just going to stand up. Like I'm not going to be like going over my head. I'm going to be able to like hit bottom, stand up and crawl out of there. I'll be cold
Mike
and miserable, but
Mike would be like worried about the ice or whatever, and I'm like, motherfucker, there's people driving their cars and their tiny homes on it. We're fine.
I'm ultra
I'm
paranoid.
like, what are you talking about? Like,
So
we are good.
I'm concerned about the ice guys when we're fishing Carmine, and not even shitting you. There's people driving 1-ton diesels and 16-foot campers
Yeah.
by us, and I was
And
like,
all you hear is go, 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 go,
yeah,
go, go of the ice just like cracking and stuff. But I'm
I
like, Mike,
just
we're
overly
fine. I
cautious.
was in Jersey fishing on 3-ish inches. You're good. You got 14. Shut
Yeah.
the fuck up. It's like,
Yeah, I'm always like that. It's weird because I'm like that on ice.
right?
Summertime fishing, there's been
Well, it's
some
different. There's no
days.
hypothermia
Oh no,
factor.
there is, because I will be probably ice. There's a good chance I'll be open water fishing in like 3 weeks.
I'll definitely be open ice. I'll definitely be doing that as well.
The first time I fished out of my old town
For the
was on
first time
Champlain,
in
and there
Forever.
was still ice on the shoreline.
There'll be music.
Like
There'll
it
be light.
was 10 yards of ice
Mm-hmm.
off of the shore still.
Mm.
We had to like chip ice out of the ramp to get our kayaks into the water. Now, this is the first time I'd ever been in it. So I wasn't even that familiar with the kayak. Like I just that's the stupidity that comes with how now don't get me wrong, I was wearing good clothes but I don't have a dry suit. I should have all that stuff and I don't recommend doing what I do, but I mean I was shortly after that we were fishing for lake trout when it was snowing. Like it's just I'm comfortable enough on open water, but I'm also like I am cautious in the sense of like I'm fishing 10 yards from shore. I don't get out in the middle. So if I did
Right.
end up dumping my kayak, I know I can get to shore
Mm.
and hold
Yeah.
on to something until I get help. And that's the other reason why I'm going to the tubes this weekend is because I have cell phone service there.
The tubes. Why can't we tell people, Dance? First of all, I would need a photo reference, but it's funny as shit.
I'll take a photo Saturday for you.
Thank you. Pair it up with the graph, and next week we'll show you
I
guys
will.
for the next episode.
I've never actually fished anything tidal. That
I
being
don't.
said, if I end up going with Bobby to the Cape, that's brackish and tidal for the most part,
Also,
unless we're hitting a pond.
I'm not mad or jealous that you guys are doing that. You're like Janelle's gonna be mad. I'm not. I'm happy for you. I'm so happy for you. You
Yeah.
hang out with other friends, not just Janelle.
See, it's weird because it's what's actually kind of weird about this whole deal is that like Bobby is the weird connector that brings a lot of different groups of people together, but also like it is in a different world camping with Bobby versus Janelle. And then Bobby and Janelle, like me and Janelle act like brother and sister, and then Bobby's like the father that like kind of
I
like
call him Dad. I'm like, Dad, can we go do this?
he's
He's like,
kind of
yeah.
like the dysfunctional uncle father that hangs out with the group.
But also,
So
I'm like the mother of the group as well. So it's like
yeah,
everybody has their little quirks.
we need to do something, the four of us though. We'll figure some trip out at
Yep.
some
The
point.
four
But
musketeers must get together. Are we talking about ice fishing at all, Mike? I brought my bucket out. I got my rod.
you know what's funny is
Where is it?
I actually haven't even been jigging since you left. I
What?
haven't caught anything on a jig rod at all. I will be getting another underwater camera so we can play that game again with
I love games.
DVR.
The best part is I will come back up to Vermont in your area just for that pizza and the freaking mozzarella sticks.
Yeah, that saved the day, honestly. So we had such a bad day of ice fishing. We caught 2 bluegill like right before we left. Didn't have a single tip up go off, and Janelle was like, I think she was getting.
I was getting irritated. It was like the second. It was the day after the blizzard. This was the second day or the third day of blanking. What did we go? Did we go to the shoots?
So no, it was technically the first. It was the first true blank, but it was after the video you guys just saw, where we really only caught like a few perch. She had a bunch of miss, and what you guys don't realize is those weren't all perch she missed. Some of those were pike. Like the spool was, and then like she just didn't get to it in time, and they spit it out or broke off. So like
Makes no sense. Makes no sense.
well,
But whatever.
one of them, she actually like it bit off. It bit the hook. It took the hook, so there was no hook left. So that was definitely. So it was one of those like I kind of felt bad because I made the executive decision to fish what I thought would be a good area. It turned out
But
to
it
be an
wasn't.
epic fail. So I ended up literally while we're picking tip ups up, called the pizza in and mozzarella sticks, and then ended up just like going and picking up a pizza on the way home. So then Janelle went home with, I don't want to say legit food because you actually ate pretty well. I mean, you were making cool food, like meals. You were making like actual
Okay,
food.
calm down. Just for like the first night, I had the energy to make that, and then after that, it was basically like cup of noodles. I did
Still,
make cinnamon buns one night. Yeah, no, like I had an array of food. I had Lunchables with me. When I'm on these trips, I like treat myself to like trash.
Yeah.
Love it. But no, the pizza like made me so happy. I was just like, I don't even like pepperoni pizza, but Mike got pepperoni, and I was just like, oh, this is so good because it was that bad. It was that bad of a day.
It was one of those like it was such a bad day that you just needed the grease and
We
calories
need to
because you were
eat
just
our
irritated.
sorrows. And then the
But yeah,
next day, I literally was like, I want chicken bacon ranch pizza, and I want mozzarella sticks. And
yep,
that was the day that your parents came out with us. No?
yep,
Yes. Yes. And that was a great freaking day.
that was fun.
But oh my god. Like, it took a lot to get there. I understand that like in fishing, like you're not always going to catch and all that stuff, but it's also hard when you spend all that money and you drive all the way out there and you only have so much time. And I still was there for 11 days, but you just feel pressured. What are you shaking your head to?
Hold on. So,
Okay.
no, keep going. You're good. Sorry.
But like you feel that pressure of like I only have so many days, I only have so much time. This is the only time we get to do this. That it's like, come on now, are you going to circle hooks?
So no, in Vermont you can use whatever you want. A lot of guys use circle hooks because the way they're shaped gets the hookup ratio better. I actually don't use circle hooks. I actually just use Eagle Claw Snell like bait keeper hooks. That being said, we probably could have used some bigger circle hooks in certain situations because we were getting some of those fish were not getting the hook. They were just biting the minnow off
right.
because the
So
hook was too small.
In my little tack to your box, you got the circle hook right there. Or, yeah, like you said, like a J hook, Eagle Claw situation.
Yeah.
Like and I didn't really go anything. They're about the same size.
So if you can find them, the best hook to actually use is like the Aberdeen style hooks, which have the super long shank on them.
The Aberdeen.
So basically, they have the same gap like those, but they have a longer shank, so that when you if a pike gets hooked, they can't get to the leader.
Right.
But they're really hard to find this time of year because every ice fisherman is using them. So
I literally only have that. Like that's what we're looking at terminal wise for the trip. And
hell, at one point I was using drop shot hook, guys. Like I was like literally.
That's what. Okay, first of all, I just found one. Yeah, this is a drop shot hook. This one was a little bit smaller. Yeah. I like the red hooks, but also I didn't buy any. But for like tip up fishing, I like the red hooks just because it just gives that little extra look to it.
And that's so as far as gear goes, there's going to be a few upgrades for me next year because I want to get. So I broke some more of those plastic tip ups.
The HT style ones.
They're similar to like your HTs. So the old ones that I had, not the new ones I just got.
Ones?
Not the new ones, the old black ones. I've ruined like 3 since then.
Way to go! Do it how? They were old though. Like they were old.
Yeah.
Like I could tell. I was like, holy shit, these things. Yeah,
they were like rusted up, and so a couple of them, the flags just broke completely. One of them, I actually took one of the Frable flags and put it on one of those plastic ones. It kind of works. And then, so I'm going to be probably investing in a couple more. The other thing I'm going to be investing in is I saw it online, and you'll appreciate this because you're like the engineering side, is I'm going to buy a pack of the gym puzzle piece mat things. And I'm going to I'm going to buy those, and I saw a video to cut them to make the insulators.
I was going to do that. I didn't have enough time to do it because I have an old yoga mat that I got at Goodwill.
And I want to try that with the stick tip up specifically, but that day, so I went out, so you guys know, I went out on a day that the wind was blowing, and you guys probably saw the reel. Those are a lot. You didn't have those with you, did you?
Yeah, Temu.
Oh, I didn't know you had all those with you.
You get so mad. Okay, these ones are not Temu, but literally all of the painted ones was like a variety pack for like $10.
That's not bad.
Yeah, no, they work great. And again, I like that little soft plastic. Sorry, go ahead. Tell your story.
No, you're good. The reason why I bought a shanty was because I went out on a Sunday, and I actually texted Janelle some photos. You guys didn't get to see the full experience. It was blowing like 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts to the point where like my tip ups were disappearing, and I was having to like dig them out of snowbanks. Well,
Yeah.
the ground blind shanty that's been in the videos, it decided to try to escape and took off across the lake and almost made it
I'm
to the end of that row of tip ups, and I'm so mad I didn't get it on video.
I'm so mad that I didn't get me tackling it. Like literally
Yeah.
dropping my rod and tackling it.
Yeah, so the one I have, that
That
the
was funny.
camel one did the same thing to me.
Oh. Oh.
It took off across the lake. It ripped out of the grommet. I actually had it anchored and it ripped the anchor off.
I'm listening to you.
So that's why I invested in a Frable. It's a HQ 200. So it's not as big as the one we had at Carmi, but it has two
Okay.
doors, and it would definitely be a situation where we could each sit in a corner and have our own setups and just exit our own door, and we wouldn't have to cross each other's like area, and then we would be able to
Right.
both dual fish out of it. So that'll be
Ish.
a nice way to like do it, because there was days that, because we did have a shanty but we didn't, that we could have probably fished longer if we'd been able to be out of the elements, because there was a couple of those days where it was just miserable. Like it was just freaking cold, and it'd be different if you were catching, but then when we're not catching and it's cold, it was just not worth the effort.
Yep. I will probably I'm gonna get my own anyway. I mean there's no doubt that
A
I will
guy
get my
had
own
one of
next
those
year.
nomads,
Nomads. Oh, the brand, the one you were talking about.
and it looked pretty nice. So I saw one of those
Nice.
in person, and they looked pretty solid. So I know you were looking at that one, the Nordic Legend Nomad or whatever the hell they're called. He had one
Yep.
of those, like the orange one you
Oh,
sent me.
nice. Yeah.
He had the
All
maroon
right.
version of it, but it was the same.
Okay, because that's honestly that might be the one I get since that's part of my logo color. I don't know yet. I'm either getting orange or I'm getting maroon. I'm getting that, and then I'll probably obviously be buying like 4 more tip ups just so I have my own 7 of the HT style ones. I doubt I'll. It's only. I doubt I'll upgrade to the wooden ones only because I really like the orange ones. I really like the orange plastic ones.
So for you, realistically, you need basically a couple more tip ups, maybe a small shanty
Yeah.
for like a personal shanty, because you're probably not, unfortunately, for ice content, you're probably going to have to travel, because you're probably not going to
Oh
get
yeah,
another winter where you could ice fish in
1000%.
Jersey. Now the good news is a
But
parking
also,
lot in Vermont that you can come to and fish, but I mean, you go
but I
upstate New
also
York
can
too.
go.
Pennsylvania probably freezes too,
Yeah,
right?
it does. I can drive 2 hours and find ice. So like
Right.
that for me, it's a win-win. It's the biggest thing. The biggest decision next year is probably going to be auger. Whether or not, I mean, I'll probably just get the striker that you have because it makes. I mean,
It's
it's a
awesome.
great fucking. It's a great. Well, if it's on sale the way it was, either I look at it for like Black Friday, like keep my eye out for it, or something like that.
As long as you
Because
don't
I
drive the
have the.
blades into some rocks.
Well, you're an idiot. As long because your dad did it the day before, literally in the same spot. So the fact that you did it, I was like, oh my god.
But I swapped them.
Anyway, I good. I have the K drill, but it's a 6.5-inch attachment. But my drill that I was using wasn't capable enough, and to put the kind of money into getting a drill and the batteries and all that, it just would be more. It would just be worth it to buy the striker, like the
So
Strike
by
Master,
myself too. The
whatever.
thing is, I've used that thing by myself a bunch of times now. I, to be honest, I think you could probably get solo sends. You could probably get like 3 days. Well, actually,
Right.
you can't. I can get 3 days out of the battery. Janelle does not like to just set up and relax. Janelle wants she wants the lake to look like
Results. I
she
want
wants the lake to look
results.
like a Connect 4 board before she leaves. Like she has no
Yeah.
desire.
I.
She wants me to drill 25 holes before we put the first tip up in so that she could have options. Like it's
Mike was driving me slightly crazy, and the other thing about it was like my drill crapped out. It was just too cold for that battery, and the drill was already basically burnt out before then.
yeah.
But being like relying on him to drill hole, like I felt like, oh, it's his auger. I don't really want to like break it or anything. I had already put it in front of the heater and melted some of it, and I was like,
I didn't
oh
bring it
my
up.
fucking
That was
god, that
the one time that I actually got mad at you. The whole week.
I would have been mad. I would have been mad at me too because there's nothing.
It was the circumstances too. So for perspective, I literally put the auger in a specific spot in the shanty, and then she was like, "That's a stupid spot to put it. Why did you put it there? Now I need it." And I'm like, "Okay." So she
Oh,
took
that's
it. She
okay.
drilled
Yes.
the hole, and then I was like, "Don't put." I put it. I literally told her before I handed it to her, I put it here so it wouldn't get near the heater. So then she's trying to thaw it in front of the heater, and then like she's like, "I kind of melted your auger." And I'm like, "Are
I
you fucking
kind of.
serious?" There's literally a spot on my auger that's like slightly U-shaped. So if you guys see at some point, and this is actually, I don't want to blame it completely, but it definitely has an effect. When it hits that spot on the blade, it starts to like,
It's
because it's hitting a spot that's warped because she put it in front of the buddy
Ugh.
heater and melted the plastic wings on it a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but
Here's.
that thing is actually, I will say, of all the auger setups, I've used a drill. I've used a couple of different
Mm-hmm.
drills. I will say, if you have a freaking Milwaukee Fuel drill or a high end commercial grade hammer drill, then just buy the bit and then you'll be cheaper. But for $2.99 for what I paid for that Striker auger, that thing is a lifesaver. It cuts good.
Yeah.
It's simple to use. It's light.
It's
And
light.
the simple thing is like I use that thing for I've used it for 3 or 4 solo sends since Janelle left, and
Yeah.
all the holes I needed to drill for me to fish for 8 or 9 hours, and I get home and put it on the charger, and it's charged in 20 minutes. So like, I mean, we literally charged that thing, and you guys saw it in the video. We charged it with our fucking generator on the back of her bus to
Yeah.
finish the.
We
I
sat
charged half of it with my battery that I was
truck.
using, which is why I was worried about my battery dying. Is I used my battery that I was using to run my heater with an inverter to charge the hour and a half drive back to the lake. I was using an inverter to charge it, and then we used her generator to charge it up, and we used it the 2 days with no problem.
Yeah,
And
we
we didn't
sat
charge
in
it.
my bus anxiously for like 30 to 40 minutes. It was tough because he was like, let's go. I'm like, no, let this damn battery charge.
Yeah.
I'm not walking back out onto that lake. And it doesn't freaking work because the battery's not charged. But
And those batteries
I
are only
think
$100
bang for my
bucks.
buck. Yeah.
They're
So
cheap.
I think if you're down, we'll figure this out next year. But I'll probably buy the 8-inch one. And then when I come up, if you want to swap, I'll take the 6-inch blade and you can have the
Do
8,
that.
because technically I did ruin yours, and I don't really need anything bigger than the 6. But if it's in my price range and that works out, then I'll probably just do that.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. The thing is,
because I feel
anyways,
bad that
you
I
were to buy a
melted it.
striker. If you were to
Yeah.
buy the same one too, we would have 2 batteries because it's the same battery.
Right.
So that would be the other
Right.
benefit, is we would have 2 augers with 2 batteries, which means even if we were only using one the whole time or one more than the other, we would have
Right.
2 batteries.
Well,
So
knowing me and my brain and myself, I always make sure I have 2 batteries. So if I'm buying the auger, I'm buying a spare battery. So
they're not bad, like I said, and sometimes they're even on sale for less money. So I looked up.
right.
So that's one of the things I factored in when I bought that. Like I'd been debating on buying one for a while,
I
but
know.
at $2.99, and the fact that the batteries are only like $100, and the fact that it cuts really good, it was a no brainer. Now again, the 6-inch hole, I will say, I caught some pike that were a little tough. I would not have gotten that fucking 17-pounder that he caught out of that hole, the 6-inch hole.
Right.
He wouldn't have fit.
Right.
I would have been in an emergency situation where I would have had to like reach down and grab onto the fish and have someone drill me a second hole to get him out. But
Right.
the fact is like that auger is definitely worth the money. I don't know if I'd spend the money for an Ion because those are stupid expensive.
No fucking way. Double the price for what? Why? Like I can't see myself. I can't see myself, especially in the next probably 10 years once I buy it,
Well, and the
needing
thing
or
is,
wanting another one.
for you could
Like
probably sell your K drill bit for
that's
$100.
what that's what I'm thinking. That's probably what I'm gonna
You
do
sell
is
that for
sell that.
100, you're halfway to the striker, and then
Right.
you just buy the striker, and then you're good.
Yeah.
And that's going to be
Some
something
people,
that to think about.
yeah, some people spend that on a reel or a rod. Like yeah, not me. Like I try to stay under $100 for each item,
Yeah,
but there's and
they're,
that's fine. But it's
there
a
ain't a single
good
one of them under $100.
it's a good deal. It's a good price.
Yeah,
All I got to do is figure out what job I'm working with my dad or dog sitting or what have you
yeah.
that is going into the auger for next year. It's not happening until October or November of this year. So we
No,
got
and
some
that
freaking time.
yeah, and that's the thing is like that's what's cool about it is I mean we're like I said we're definitely gonna do some freaking there's gonna be some summertimes because that's the one thing that's funky is I spent 4 days with you but I didn't fish open water with you the whole time,
Yeah, right?
not once,
Cray cray.
not even like the closest that we fished together was me basically trash talking you as I pedaled back to the ramp to go fish the river because I
Okay.
gave up on the lake.
Bye bye. And the wind and the rain and the bullshit.
So
Yeah.
it was I definitely want to try to make content with you fishing open water, whether it's down there,
Yeah.
up here, both. I mean, you're going to be in Vermont anyway. Are you planning on here we go again, me planning and you yelling at me about planning, but
It's okay.
what would your family trip, are you going to try to do like an extended trip so that you can come up and fish
Yeah.
down here and then
No,
be with them?
100%.
So
Yeah. I Wow, my brain just died. I don't have any other than you. I don't have any other connections for unless I call the people that run the cabins and all that and be like, hey, are they catching? Did it kick off now or is the week that we
oh
have
yeah,
good and then I stay the week after? I don't want to fucking miss it because it's so hard. It
right,
hurts my heart. It's my favorite trip of all time. It's equal to so my cabin in the mountains and Vermont are like my favorite places in the world. They're like right here with each other. Boom.
right,
And it's my favorite trip. Obviously, if you fish and you fish any type of the spawn, the spring is when it gets it gets going. And I already have that trip planned. I'm already going to be up there, so it makes sense to do a send
just
and
extend it on
then
either side. Yeah,
just extend it on either side of when the bite's happening, and then I'll be able to uh, fish out of my kayak in certain spots and blah blah blah. There's a campground right on the other side of Carey's Bay that hopefully will have a spot that I could stay at, and then I could kayak around from there because I'm going to be in the kayak. I'm bringing the bus. I'm
right,
not taking my mom's car and our boat
right,
early. You know what I mean?
right.
Because I love the people that own Henry's, and if you ever want to go somewhere and fish, Henry Sportsman Cottages in South Albert, Vermont is incredible, and I've been going there since I was a baby. My dad's been going there before that, so incredible people, incredible place. Love it there, and it's located on a spot in Champlain where you get the best of both worlds. You get smallmouth and largemouth, literally intertwined, and everything in between the walleyes. But they don't have a spot that I can park up for a week in the bus. And obviously it makes sense. They want me to rent their cabin.
Right.
That's how they're making money. That's their whole thing.
Right.
But if I could have stayed there with the bus and then rented their boat for a week, I would have done that. But I think they didn't like that idea. So they said no respectfully, and I get that completely. But now I'm like, damn it. Because I love having the freedom of the boat, especially on Champlain. I've never really, I fished my sit on top kayak once on Champlain, and you're limited.
Right.
Having the boat, you're just go here, go there, go here, go there.
Well, when you come up with the bus, hit me up because I can talk to Chris and some other people, and we can definitely get you some spots to park, so you don't have to worry about all that. My plan, anyways, too, if you're going to be up that far, we might be able to get an interesting collaboration with a particular Canadian too, because Alberg is not very far from Montreal.
Heyo.
So
No, it's not.
I might be able to get Bear Fishing to bust his ass down from Canada and then do a 3 collab and get all 3 of us together to do a video, which would be. You think me and you bicker? You should see me and him fish.
I wish that the bus could tow the boat. That would be like the dream package. But because I welded, I mean, honestly, wait a minute, think about this. We pulled the entire bus out on the weld job that my dad did. So if I put a hitch on there, I could tow a 16-foot aluminum boat.
I didn't want to say it, but you probably could put a bolt on back there.
I probably could. That would be a dangerous game for me, because that would literally make. I literally watched a video. This guy lifted his school bus like a foot and then converted it to be a fucking 4x4, so it had 4-wheel drive. I was like, dude, I don't have that money, but if I did, I would probably do it, because I literally would be unstoppable.
I mean, I put a bolt on my Renegade.
And
pulled my boat with it, so, I mean.
It's not my boat, though. It's my dad's boat. So he was like, I fucking do not trust you in that setup. And it'd be a different story. But...
Well, I mean, honestly, if you could get it here, depending on when you're coming, there's an F-150 here that could then pull it around.
Could you imagine? Wait, can you see me at a boat slip with the bus?
No.
And the fucking boat? No. I could.
You can't even back up. It's hard for you to back up with just the fucking.
I don't have a backup camera installed.
I know, that's what I'm saying. The angles and being able to see back there.
Oh, it'll be done. That'll be done by the spring. In the spring, that's on the top list of things.
And yes, Scott Vermonter, my plan is Somerset is not going to be a tournament lake this year. I had some reconfiguring I had to do with the schedule. But I will be doing some campouts at Somerset. One of which might be with the very elusive Mr. Beef, and maybe some Janelle action too.
Elusive Beef.
You could go to that one, but that's fucking 2 hours south of me.
What?
Somerset.
Probably not in my cards.
That if where you're fishing, that's literally. Like, from Alberg, it's literally the opposite side of the state.
Look at it!
So, I was a lot heavier even then.
Look at that guy! Look at him!
I was like 50 pounds heavier then.
It happens.
It's something that's definitely going to happen. That's going to be some of the camp out content that I make, is I'm going to be going down the Somerset. It's a cool reservoir. It has smallmouth. It's going to be a perfect place for me to set the truck up and sleep and do some like dual nights. Yeah. I found that content. I have some video of me sleeping too. I fell asleep in the channel, guys. Literally passed out. I was so exhausted.
It was a time. I had fun. I'm still recovering. I think I'm also just sad that it was over. Like,
it's bittersweet.
I got such a brief little like glimpse of like ice fishing, and I'm just like, fuck, and I gotta wait a whole nother year.
Yep.
But I have so many other things to look forward to, but I'm still just like,
there's going to be a couple of, definitely, like I said, open water collabs. If you come up, like, my plan is, when you know for sure which side you're going to end up doing, I'm probably going to put in for time off.
What, in May?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my plan is to try.
Well, we do have that one funny ass video idea that we have to do this spring. Like, we have to do it.
You want to do that?
It's getting done. The outfit that I already have planned is hilarious.
Okay, I'm down.
Anyway,
that'll probably be the only clickbait gimmicky video you'll ever see me bake. But I definitely want to bake it.
How can I figure out how much am I allowed to say right now?
Don't say any of it. We want to keep that on the down low.
I gotta figure out how to rig it. I'm just gonna say, I have to figure out how to rig a trolling motor onto it. Could you imagine that, redneck? Could you imagine that, redneck engineering? That'd be freaking sick.
I can do it. I absolutely can do it. Matter of fact, I think I have the electric trolling motor we could do it with, and I know a battery
Oh
company
man.
that probably would sponsor the event. So,
Hey,
but yeah, no, we're going to. I'm going to be doing tournament in May on the 14th. I think 14th, 15th, whatever that Sunday is.
yeah.
That's the only real weekend that I'm going to be like, and that's just that Sunday. And that's at Bombazine, so that's local to me anyway, so it's not a big deal.
You mean the
And
17th and 18th?
wow,
Like
whatever that Monday Sunday is, so probably the 17th.
Okay. Look. Hey, look up. Oh my god,
Yeah,
the
17th.
glare is killing
That
me. I'm
glare is
sorry.
awful. Yeah,
My bad.
it'll be the 18th.
Okay.
So the 18th will be that tournament. But that's the thing is that's just one day. So it's like worst case scenario, even if you're down, you fish without me.
I just can breathe for a minute without having to
you
go
get a
to
day
your
away
face.
from me. And if you're up there, then like I said, if my goal is to hopefully have you be up here for whichever side we'll meet up and fish, and then you do the family thing and then go from there. And I really want to try to get Bear Fishing to meet up with us too, because I think that'd be a really freaking cool collab.
Well, I still really want to fucking pour plastics, bro.
We
Scott.
can
No, I'm just
we
kidding.
can we can
Start
work that
yelling at
out.
everyone.
We can probably work that out with Matt even too. Matt
Okay.
Moore is another guy that I can do that with. The summertime's not as big a deal to pour plastics. It's just
Oh, I know.
with the you saw my shed. Like, can you imagine both of us in there with a fucking heater?
It's on the
Like,
outside of your shit.
yeah, like it's not big. It's not a freaking big space.
Right.
So it's
Right.
it's definitely something that we would need to have. Honestly, worst case scenario, I might even be able to get Dad to let me just put the microwave in the garage.
Hey, Dad.
So, but yeah, no, there's going to be a lot of that kind of content. Hopefully, Janelle wants to keep doing the podcast thing, but like we said, it's not, and understand, it's not like she doesn't like me, doesn't want to do the podcast thing. It's she doesn't know what her career, financial, and travel situation is going to be going forward to be able to do that. It's not I pick on her about it, but it's not like a hard feelings thing. If she decides she can't do it, she can't do it. It's literally something that I wanted to have a co-host that could come on and talk with me for 2 hours about absolutely nothing, and she was the perfect fit for that. And even if she doesn't commit to ever being a long-term coach, she'll probably be 5 years in still being the temporary fill-in co-host because that's how her brain works. But either way, she'll still be on episodes. I mean, you were on 3 before I even asked you to be the co-host. So
That's true. Dude, here's my dilemma with my kayak.
Yep.
What accent color do I want? Do I keep the orange? Do I go with do I just go with teal because we all know I love it? Just make every accent teal, or do I
should
do like
see that teal too, guys. It doesn't even look the same on the bus photos.
It never. I don't know why it doesn't.
It looks darker. It looks darker.
I know. Makes me so mad. Or do I do like a chartreuse or a purple?
Honestly,
I'm really torn. I don't know what to do.
I would say the orange, and the only reason I say the orange is because not really, not for the kayak. Those kayaks don't. I've never seen a kayak with orange on.
The Old Town color is orange. The Old Town accessory colors with the teal are the orange. The rails are orange. The bungee cord that came with it is
true.
Orange.
Yeah, that's true.
And I love this orange. I do, because this is my hunting color. I love this.
The only reason I say orange is because those Old Towns have this ability to fucking blend in.
Yeah.
And from a safety standpoint, like that's why I picked the color I did for mine. You know what's funny to think about too? Is you are the first person outside of my family that's seen my kayak.
Wait, did I touch it?
Yeah,
I touched it.
Yeah.
I almost sat on it and I was like, Yeah.
You literally are the first person outside of my dad. My wife hasn't even seen it yet.
Nikki, I'm
because
sorry.
When I got home from Massachusetts for 7 fucking hour drive home in the fucking blizzard.
Lovely.
I covered it with a tarp, so when she came home, it was wrapped in a tarp in the back of my truck, and then I drove it over to Dad's the next morning. So she's never even seen it, really.
I'm torn. I want to do. I just had this out the other day. I had this out because I was doing something. Like I want to do like reflective. This is like a white reflective.
That's a good point.
Like,
teal and orange. Everybody will think you're a
chartreuse.
Dolphins fan.
Yeah, what the fuck. I love this one. Keep the distance, but it's a little reflective thing. So I'm definitely gonna have like safety features on it. So like signaling stuff. I'm gonna try to make the black pack as visible as possible. Like try to put some things on it, but I don't know what accent color I want yet. And it's driving me nuts. I'm buying
a black pack this year.
Mine.
Like I'm buying the actual Yak Attack.
The new one? The new fancy schmancy ones?
So I'm buying the green or the black bottom, and I'm doing the olive green short stack on top of it to go with the colors of my kayak. It's something that I've been tossing back and forth, but just the versatility of that particular, it's stupid expensive. It's unnecessary, but I want to kind of one and done this build. I don't want to just keep having, like you saw, like how big and like it's just going to be smarter to just put that on there. And you built crates, you know what I mean? Like you always end up having to fuck with them constantly. The zip ties loosen up and stuff gets, and just I'm sick of dealing with it. So
I'm listening. Oh, I'm not going to grab it right now, but yes, I do know what you mean.
I don't want to spend $200 on a freaking crate, but at the same time, I'm like, then I won't have to buy any more stuff for it. It'll be done.
Yeah, well, as you know, I'm keeping the original black pack, the 60, whatever it is. Love that thing, and it's great for the majority of my sends on lakes that I know.
Yeah.
But for places that I don't, and for places where traveling is a thing, and I don't want to strap just my crate to the outside of my rack, I'd rather have something that's contained, that's lockable, that's waterproof, that has wheels. You know, I'm going to like the toolbox situation, and that's happening in a couple weeks. So I'm dog sitting again for like a whole week because my neighbors, they always go for spring training in Florida.
Yeah,
that's my big ticket payday right there.
Nice.
So $50 towards that. And we'll see how everything goes. It should be the right size for what I want to do. Modify that, get that going, and then it's just figuring out my accent color. I like the orange, I do, but like everybody has that, and that makes me upsetty spaghetti. But I'm not sold on like purple either, like the purple and teal. I don't know why. I like it, but I don't like it. And then I thought about chartreuse, but I'm like, nah. Because for me, I also would want my pliers and everything to be those colors. Again, people, I am fucking OCD with my colors.
Understand the color stuff. It's a thing.
It's a thing for me. You know what? I was thinking about this today. With the way my brain works with the ADHD, I need systems. I need to help myself and create systems so that I can function. And especially in like high stress situations or situations where I can get flustered, I need things to run smoothly. So yes, the accessories for my bus are red. So like the tools and things that I buy that go in there are red. And my kayak stuff, like my bank fishing stuff, is green. So like my pliers, my scale, it's green. Just so I know that's where it goes.
Yep.
And like my filming stuff for the kayak, it got painted. The GoPro stuff gets painted with a bit of a teal, so I know that that's where that goes.
Did I tell you I lost my microphone for like a week?
No! Was it in your chair? And then these ones are regular.
No, it wasn't. So yeah, guys, I lost a freaking GoPro, and I thought I like lost it, and it was in my freaking camp chair in the like pocket in the side.
That fell out of his sled and was under the snow all night. It was funny.
Yeah, and it still works perfectly fine. Matter of fact, one of the videos you guys just watched was filmed with it. The microphone, I used it when I went on my solo send, And when I took my hoodie off, I set it on my freezer, and it was like buried underneath like a whole bunch of clothes and stuff. So I thought I'd lost it, and I was actually kind of upset because I really like that microphone, that DJI mic 2 with the camera and how it just connects and don't have to like hook it all up. Did he send you
Yo,
stuff yet?
he did. He sent me
Yeah,
a
I
little
talked to him.
goodie bag. I also love this.
I had talked to him and he said he was going to send you some stuff, so I'm glad you got it. That's cool.
He did. I'm super stoked. I'm super stoked to buy a bunch of shit for the spring. I already know the stuff that he gave me is going in my BFS backpack.
Yeah.
Which is.
I'm not going to go as much BFS, but he has his swim jigs. Look.
Yeah.
Sweet. So I'm definitely going to pick up. I'm going to pick up some swim jigs from him and a couple other regular jigs. I'm going to put an order in at some point.
You said regular?
Regular?
Couple regular jigs.
You guys don't understand like how much shit she gives me about how I talk.
The regular what?
Like the Waldo thing that I said.
The Waldo.
That freaking video that I put out. Like you guys don't understand that like that short that I just put up, that was like a fucking hour long of that. Like we were going back and forth for a while on that. It just didn't all get caught on camera. And I'm upgrading to the underwater camera. I am gonna get that. I haven't decided if I want the yo-yo or whatever it is or the Fish Pro. But
again, all problems for the fall. Right now we're
I'll be buying the underwater camera earlier.
Oh. Well, I mean, it would be cool for like trolling.
So I want to do like how to fish certain techniques. So I want to show like how a chatterbait looks with a certain trailer and stuff like that. So I want to get the underwater camera to do that with. And you got to admit, and I'm probably going to end this soon here because we're almost going on 2 hours and people are probably falling asleep on us. But
my phone just moved to sleep mode, literally.
What you guys don't understand about the giggling from video 3 was Janelle. So I got bored and I started wandering around with my underwater camera and I drilled a bunch of holes and I was like literally laying on. I actually made the joke, which I guess I didn't get it on camera and I thought I did, was up facing sonar instead of like forward facing sonar because I was laying on my back because the sun was like literally glaring on the screen so bad I couldn't record it. So I was laying on my back in the snow holding my underwater camera straight up and down so that I could film it. And I was seeing like bluegill and perch and big schools of fish. So then I ran over, and I think Janelle did get that on camera. I grabbed my shanty and just like ran it across the water.
I can't wait to edit that. I forgot.
I stood underneath it and just like ran like Looney Tunes cartoon style across the water. And then we set it over top. So she's sitting like on the ice basically with a jig rod. I'm sitting on the ice over in the corner, just the right angle to film what you guys saw. But you didn't even get to see it all because I had the camera at a weird angle. But the whole time I'm like left, down, over, hold on, got it. And then like we did that. We caught probably 6 fish doing that. I just didn't get it all on camera. And that was the funnest part of a shitty day was just us sitting there and just like watching fish like eat. And that hooked me on the underwater camera thing.
That was the only
and then my camera broke.
It was the only thing that saved that day.
Yeah.
Literally was those fucking fish.
And we were just sitting there laughing the whole time because she's sitting there fishing and I'm like, and the thing is what you guys can't see on my screen is that she is like right here, like here.
Yeah.
So like I could see her face. She's like doing this and I'm seeing it move on the screen and it was a ton of fun. So that's
I think my chest cam has a decent view of that. I'm going to do my chest cam footage and I'm going to have to take that underwater camera and put it right in the corner. I did get, however, my little pouch for my battery for the back of my chest camera, so now I have a little.
I'm getting the DVR camera so we don't have to worry about sun glare anymore going forward. And
ooh, fancy. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm actually thinking of the other.
Oh, here we go. What are you thinking now?
Well, the other fish finder that I told you I'm buying.
Yeah.
That doesn't have screen recording, so I'm gonna have to build another little like weird fucking cave like I did. I made a cave out of a hat, guys, and then like was like it was weird.
There's a
Um,
lot of engineering
there
into
was a
that trip.
lot of engineering in that trip.
The
So
bucket, the bait bucket.
yeah, so I
Yeah.
plan on like doing some stuff like that, and then we'll definitely have some cool content for the next time that we're together. Honestly, that might even the way the weather's going, that might even be the first time I get open water if I don't end up
Right.
fishing with Bobby. We'll be down there. And that's assuming you don't get like some paying job or something and we don't end up getting to make it work out. But
I'm not applying for any full-time positions anywhere, dude.
but
What was I gonna say? My bubbler works, even though it
is
was
it?
frozen for 11 days. It thawed out and I turned it on. And was like, bah! And I was like, sick.
She had a minnow bucket that was concrete, like it was froze solid. Like you couldn't get the aerator off of it. The hose was inside, like it was solid.
I was so upset about that because I was like, if I could just get the aerator out, like, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to bring it into the bus because it smelled like dead minnow water.
Bad.
So if I thawed that out, I would have been like, I hate my life, and I didn't want to do that.
You wouldn't have got that smell out of your bus. I don't think that was probably pretty
No,
bad because those were like there was dead minnows. Like
mush,
if you guys have ever seen Jurassic Park with the mosquito caught in the stupid amber fluid stuff, that's what her minnows were like suspended in the middle of the bucket, like just permanently there. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it froze immediately. It wasn't an insulated bucket at all. So
That's going to be your next invention. I guarantee you're going to end up building a cooler like I did because that has been.
I have the little one.
That's been perfect.
I
That
have
cooler
it,
has
and
been perfect.
It sits in there. I don't have it with me, but it sits right in here
Yeah, that cooler
on my
was
on my cutting board shelf.
best freaking thing I ever did for a bait bucket was took an igloo cooler and drilled a hole in the back of it for an aerator. That thing was perfect.
I don't get to use any of this.
Come on up.
No, I don't have the money to come on up, bro.
If you left right now, you'd be here in time to go hit the tubes on Saturday with me.
$27 in my bank account, sir. That's a fifth of the tank.
Yeah, that wouldn't even get you here, probably. Yeah.
No, it wouldn't. That's an hour drive. I think no. Yes, I think it's like every quarter tank is about an hour driving in the bus, depending on how fast I'm going.
Take the car. Sleep
Ooh,
at my house.
hang out with Remy.
Sleep at my house.
With Remy, the puppy. That would be weird. No,
I'll see you Saturday morning. Yeah, my wife comes home from work and you're just like on the couch and she's like, "Wait, I thought you fucking left."
I would go to your parents' house and I'd be like, "Can I sleep on your couch, please?"
Yeah,
please.
No, I think honestly it's probably the last weekend of ice fishing before it starts to get sketchy, and I'm not.
I had a glimmer of hope, that we would have safe ice and I could do one like 4-hour session, and it was all gone because I wasn't also keeping up. For me, or for Michael, or for either of us.
Summertime, we need to do one.
We need to do one. Here's the other thing: I don't like the taste of fish. And this really
that'll
sucks
make
to me.
That'll make the catch and cook better though, because both of us will be like.
I did have salmon for dinner. That was good, but like salmon, like seared tuna, every once in a while, like catfish because it's like fish and chips, or like white bass, but very rarely. I can eat trout, but the bones piss me off. Like it's a texture thing. I don't love the taste of fish, and I don't love the process. Okay, cleaning fish is much easier than field dressing a deer, which I've never done and don't ever plan on doing. That's my dad's job or somebody else's job. But it freaks me out. I don't love the taste of fish. So, and like, I just like releasing them. I do it for the sport of it. I do it for the love of it. That being said,
if we catch a snakehead and it's viable, we could do it. We're supposed to kill them anyways, right?
True. I don't, but you're supposed to.
That might be the way to do it, because technically you're supposed to dispatch them, and I've heard that they're good. Like I've heard that they're like.
I've heard that they're good too. All right, I'd be down to do that. There is a crappie spot that I want to try to fish this year, but it's like you can only get to it in the very early spring because it's like in the back of this lake and there's this tree underwater, but like you can't get to there once the vegetation grows.
Okay.
So that's an option. I don't mind doing trout, but our trout are stock trout.
So yeah, the plan for, and I will actually end the video after this one, but the plan for the Snakehead Send, I'm planning on coming down for like a 4-day weekend.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen my buddy Mainstream Fishing's podcast, or he's been on the show a couple of times. So he lives in northern Jersey.
Okay.
And he talked about whenever I figure out what the plan is, he's probably going to drive down and meet up too.
Nice.
So it'll be another like, and the guys in the chat know Maine because they watch his podcast too. So it'll be kind of a cool collaboration to bring all of us together. And because I've been telling him I was going to fish with him for 2 years too, and every time I was supposed to go down to Alabama and do the knucklehead with him, and I ended up having financial issues that couldn't happen.
Yeah.
So that's the plan for the next meetup. As far as next podcast, Janelle's breaking up with me on the 6th, which is next Thursday. So I don't know if she'll be back ever again or not. You guys will have to watch to find out.
That is honestly to be determined.
Yeah.
But I love you guys. Thank you all for being here.
Tentatively, the 13th would be her next episode if she's. I mean, I'm doing an episode on the 6th, whether she's with me.
I heard
the question.
It could be my farewell send, or it could be like ... Yeah.
Will she ever be back again?
Yeah.
I might just like screenshot her face and then just pretend like she's here and just do a podcast where she's just
a sock puppet.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
start doing like deep fake where she's just like, I suck and I'm not actually here. But yeah, I'm trying to go weekly at least for the month of March and April. I'm gonna give it a go and see if you guys enjoy watching it. If you guys do enjoy watching me talk about stuff by myself, then cool. If not, then we will go from there. But hopefully, and if you guys, start really following Janelle's channel and start messaging her and encourage her to be my co-host, maybe she'll stick around and not break up with me. I've already been broken up with this month. You know that, right? I don't know if I told you that.
Oh, by Bear?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Good job, Bear.
Yeah, fucking
stand your ground.
Bear not so fishing, asshole. Oh, but anyways, he's gonna watch this and be like, fucking asshole. I said it on the podcast.
How many new subscribers for me to make me commit to being your co-host? That's a good question. That's a good question.
Don't tempt me.
What will it take?
I could convince some people.
Okay. Be my guest.
Or I just start bringing on like Mikey Balls and Alex Rudd and all the cool people, and that
I want to talk to Alex Rudd real bad. I would love to interview him. Anyway, let me go to sleep. It's late, and I've been doing stuff all day.
27th.
Of what?
March.
I'm gonna be in Vermont. Well,
March? Not a March.
I'm sorry. I get them wrong all the time. 27th of March. Well, you guys will see me on the 27th of March.
Because maybe I'll get Rudd to come on. Or Mikey.
I said Rudd.
I can get both to come on, probably.
Well, not at the same time.
No, I'll get... I don't think they would be on the same time. Anyways, I don't know if they talk at all, but... We can get Rudd on. We can get Rudd on. Alex loves fucking podcasts. That dude will always.
And I love.
I try not to ask him because he always says yes, and I don't want to like overuse it. But Alex always.
All right. Yeah, he seems like a really cool dude.
Alex is cool as fuck. But yeah, we're gonna end it right here because this is why Janelle gets burned out with me, because then it's like, hey, and one more thing, and then it's like, and then it's like 11 o'clock, and she's like, get the hell out of my bus. I need to go to bed. We're getting up in 5 hours to go fishing.
And that's the beauty of boundaries in friendships. Just be like, get the fuck out, and then he does, and I'm like, thank you, and I go to sleep.
Yeah. So, but yeah, guys, I appreciate you hanging out with us. We are gonna end this right here, and you guys will see Janelle.